possibly Felix Rosenquist, if not Scott Dixon. And I think the normalcy as far as the championship picture, I think will return to where we had it with guys like, Pagenaud, Newgarden, and Rossi right at the forefront, if not Scott Dixon, as he goes for his sixth title.
Mathew Embury, WSBT up in South Bend. Mathew, you going to stick around for some NASCAR talk, or do you got to bail?
Unfortunately, it's a busy day for me today, so I'll give way and let you and Steve have a little fun coming up next segment.
All right, buddy. We'll talk with you soon. Mathew Embury, WSBT up in South Bend. Give him a listen and give him a follow at Mathew Embury as well. My name is Marquis, El Presidente. We'll be right back right here on the Balance Radio Network.
Tonight.
The Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active-duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
It's double trouble, double the fun at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. See the largest antelope on Earth, the giant eland, and the ugliest creature on Earth, the African warthog. There's so much to see and do, including the Midwest's only drive-through safari. Feed the animals, see live educational shows, feel the excitement, have your picture taken with a python or cockatoo, feel the adventure. Shop the Simba Lodge gift shop with items available from around the globe. Visit the snack bar or picnic facilities. Enjoy a pony or camel ride. Or cheer your favorite porker on to victory in the famous Pork Chop Down. Bring your family to see the rare and exotic animals at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. Just take Route 2 to the Route 53 North exit and follow the sign. Only 17 miles west of Cedar Point via Route 6. Open every day, rain or shine.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar.
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
All right, welcome back to the Balance. Thank you to Mathew Embury, our official IndyCar contributor to WSBT up with South Bend, joining us, breaking down and recapping the Indianapolis 500 and previewing the Detroit Duels GP up in Belle Isle. I'll get it straight. But joining us now, it feels like it's been a month of Sundays since we've talked to this guy, our hero in NASCAR, Steve Wilson, Speedway Digest. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Steve is also our official NASCAR contributor. Steve, I appreciate your partnership with us at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was fun covering that. Hopefully, we gave you guys some good content. Real quickly, any takeaways from the Indianapolis 500?
I didn't get to watch most of it, so.
That's right, because you were in North Carolina.
Yes, I was, and I started watching the beginning, but then I found I had some other commitments, and I didn't get back until after it was all over with.
Well, hey, God loves IndyCar because we thought there was going to be issues with the weather. There was not issues with the weather. It was a great race, an exciting race. Simon Pettijohn goes off to win. It was a month of Simon. Simon says, as we titled the show. But there was a big race in Charlotte last Sunday night. I was actually able to get home, watch the race, but give us a recap of what happened in Charlotte over the weekend, last weekend. I know we were in Pocono this week, but let's talk about some NASCAR action. The Coca-Cola 600, 500, whatever it is, down in Charlotte. I'm sorry, I don't have my notes up here in front of me. So, hey, it's Saturday morning. We're drinking coffee. It's all good. We don't got to get the number right. It just happened in Charlotte. Go ahead, sir. Give us a recap. What happened in Charlotte last weekend?
Well, it was a very hot race. It was a long race, but it was the longest race that we run over our entire schedule. So, I was very impressed about the fact of, we came out of the weekend, and I think the general consensus is that this is probably some of the best racing that we've not only seen at Charlotte in the past handful or even more years, but this is probably one of the best on-track experiences in a race that many fans have seen at these mile-and-a-half intermediate tracks, both in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. And, this is something that NASCAR has continued to work on. And, with the packages that they brought both to the All-Star race and to the Coca-Cola 600, it produced more lead lap passes than in recent years. And it also produced over 30, close to 40 passes for the lead under green flag conditions. So, we saw racing all around the track. We saw this field much closer than we have in the past. We saw the eventual winner, Martin Truex Jr., had an issue earlier on in the race, able to battle himself back up, and on the final restart, take the lead and win the race for his third time this season. So, overall, like I said, the general consensus is that we saw, again, one of the best races that we've seen of both Charlotte and mile and a half in a long time. The numbers were up on television, so that was a good thing to see. Fans attending the track was up about 10% year over year. So, I think with these changes that are going forward, fans are coming back to the sport. And I think we saw it last Saturday and Sunday at Charlotte that, as NASCAR continues to tweak this package and bring this package to tracks in the future, especially when we go to Kentucky in a couple of weeks, but in July, I think we'll continue to see more action on the track. And I'm pretty excited of the fact that, NASCAR is making these bold changes to produce better racing. And I think this is just a aspect of the fact that, NASCAR as a sport and as a series is actually listening to the fans and listening to the drivers and listening to all the stakeholders in sport And if they continue to do so, then they'll continue to see more people coming back to the racetrack. They're going to continue seeing this better racing, and they're going to continue seeing ticket sales going up. And that's something that we need right now in the sport.
Well, absolutely, and I think both the IndyCar and NASCAR, I think we've seen a spike up in attendance and ticket sales, and I think that both series are doing the right thing. And one of the things that I think the NASCAR is doing good is they're kind of mixing and matching all their series in different races, and so sometimes you've got the Monster Energies with the Truck Series, and then with the Xfinity, and they're moving that around. It's a little bit of a different feel, but I think that helps increase ticket sales. Let's talk about the Truck Series. Obviously, their next race is on Friday night, coming up next Friday on the 7th. But they're at Texas Motor Speedway. But let's get a recap of what's going on in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
Well, they haven't been on track since the Friday prior to the All-Star race. So
I wonder who won that race.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
well, that's
Kyle
the last
Busch,
time
that's right. He's the only one who ever won the truck race, right?
well, that's the last time he can compete in the truck series this season.
Right.
So we won't see him anymore in the Camping World Truck Series. But on a break note.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to get off in the weeds, but a lot of people may not understand that rule. If you could real quickly explain to us why we will not see Kyle Busch in a truck series again this year.
So NASCAR has a rule stating that any full-time Cup Series driver that has more than 5 years of experience in the Cup Series, they're limited in the fact of how many races that they can run in the lower divisions, both in the Xfinity, and the Truck Series. So in Kyle Busch's case, it's six races in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. So he's raced 6 races this year, and that precludes him from racing anymore throughout the rest of the year. Now the Xfinity Series, there's a few more than that he can run, and he hasn't met his total for that yet. But the rule was put into place after years of changes and after years of finding ways to keep the Cup Series drivers from coming down and both not only taking money away but winning championships and basically, using the teams, using the lower divisions as seat time for these drivers, as well as a multitude of other things. This still gives drivers an opportunity to compete against some of the best in the world, but it also gives them an identity of their own, and that's something that we've heard continuously over years. I mean, years ago, the old adage was that you get a Cup Series driver, you get a couple Cup Series drivers, and you're going to sell more tickets to a truck race or Xfinity Series race. Well, that's not necessarily true anymore. The tides have turned, and tides have turned to the fact that fans got to a point where they were like, well, I'm tired of seeing. And it just wasn't Kyle Busch, so we can't pin this thing on Kyle Busch. I mean, but fans got to a point where they just said that, look, these Cup drivers are coming down here. There's a lot of drivers out here that are struggling not only for a seat but sponsors and other, just try to stay alive in the sport. And you got these massive teams like, pick a massive team in the Cup Series. They're sending their drivers down there. They're winning all the races. We've seen in the past where Brad Keselowski won an Xfinity Series championship while racing full-time in the Cup Series, and, a lot of people feel that's unfair. You don't see that in any other sport where, you got a pro basketball player or a football player going into lower divisions and playing both at their top levels, the NFL and NBA, but also winning championships in lower series divisions too. So, this is something that NASCAR went and curbed. And I think it was right for the sport that they did do this because, again, I think there's a fine balance in there where, these drivers have continuously said we want to race against some of the best drivers in the world because that's how we learn. That's sometimes how we can make ourselves better. But at the same time, we can't be competing against them every single day, for basically sending, an all-star player down to run in your AAA or even D leagues.
So real quickly going through the standings, I have the Truck Series